The world's largest democratic exercise finally drawing to a close. After 6 weeks of voting, electronically cast ballots are being counted in a single day. And as they are, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, or the BJP, and its allies are in the lead. An alliance of political parties led by the Indian National Congress, which governed India for much of its history, is seeking to unseat the BJP.
Let the Congress party enjoy itself briefly, but the BJP will win more than 400 seats. I can say that with confidence because of the work Modi has done in the past 10 years.
India's lower house of parliament, or Lok Sabha, has 543 seats. A political party or coalition needs to win 272 seats to form a government. Exit polls of the weekend had predicted Modi to be on track to return to office. If he wins, Modi will be the only second Prime Minister in India's history to hold office for 3 consecutive terms. Ahead of the vote, Modi set a target of winning 400 seats to further his grip on power. But the opposition has so far secured better numbers than exit poll estimates.
The BJP is certainly not running away with this election. It's much closer. The opposition is breathing down its neck, and there is a stark message which even if Mr. Modi comes back to power, he cannot ignore, which is that no amount of razzmatazz, no amount of patting yourself on the back can cover up for joblessness, cover up for inflation, cover up for the agrarian crisis. These are issues he needs to address.
The Election Commission says of the nearly billion registered voters, more than 640 million cast their ballots. The 7-phase elections that began on April 19th were held as much of India battled a severe heat wave. The election campaign was deeply divisive. Modi was accused of hate speech, calling the 200 million Muslim minority community infiltrators.
क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा?
The elections come as Freedom House ranked India as partly free for a 3rd year. The report by the US-based organization says democracy in India is losing ground. This election may prove decisive for the trajectory of India's democracy in the decades ahead. Um-e-Kulsoom, Sharrif, Al Jazeera.
Well, we're joined now by Salman Soz. He's a spokesperson for India's opposition National Congress Party. He joins us from Srinagar. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Now, if the trends we are seeing so far continue to hold, this will be a huge result for the opposition. What is your reaction so far to the results we're seeing?
Well, like you said, if the trends hold, this is not just a huge result for the opposition. This is a huge result for India. Because the way things were going, we were headed towards dictatorship in this country. And I think what the Indian people have decided, the voters have decided, is that they will not be taken for granted. They want democracy to flourish in this country. And they want politicians to focus on issues that really matter to them. And the big issues of this election, as far as we are concerned, were tremendous joblessness, high inflation, and a lot of divisive narrative that was spun by the ruling party, including, unfortunately, by the Prime Minister. And I think there was also this grave danger to the Constitution that many in India felt was going to take away the rights of the marginalized communities in this country.
I mean, as you say, in the past 10 years of BJP's governance, we've seen the government try to push through controversial policies. You've had more divisive language. There's been protest. Is that what you think that has led to this anger being reflected in the voting numbers?
I think it's a combination of, of course, 10 years the government has been there. When Prime Minister Modi first came to power in 2014, there were promises of Achhe Din, which means good days. And the promise was that there would be, hundreds of millions of jobs for young people because we need jobs in this country. Those were the kinds of promises that were made. But after 10 years, the most that the Prime Minister can and the BJP, the ruling BJP, can point out is a focus on welfare politics, but the kind of welfare politics where they make you feel that they're doing you a favor, as if food is not a right of people it is a favor from the ruling party to the poor people of this country. And I think the poor people have had enough. I think we will see after the results come out, hopefully, that that rural communities, poor people, marginalized communities, those who are not in the top 1 to 5% of this country, which is facing great inequality, I think they have spoken, and they seem to have spoken decisively. And may I add that this election, from my perspective, from anybody who can see this objectively, has not been a free and fair election. The ruling party had tremendous advantages of money. The media, the mainstream media, is pretty much captured in this country. And then they had control of public institutions, and they were used to coerce the opposition leaders. In fact, 2 chief ministers of opposition-ruled states were arrested, which is unprecedented. But despite all odds, I think the combination of the opposition parties coming together and pushing this narrative of working for the people, for the issues that matter to their daily lives, I think that seems to have resonated. I hope the final results are in line with the trends that we see right now.
And finally, I know you're from Kashmir, and it's been 5 years since Kashmir's special status was revoked, but the promise of elections and statehood has been on hold since then. Can Kashmiris have some hope now for change?
I hope so, because this time people got an opportunity to come out and vote, and they have done that in large numbers. They want the freedom to speak out, to live their lives without fear, and I think there was a lot of repression in some ways here. But I think the national narrative hopefully will now change, because, like I said, we have this word called Tanashahi, which is almost a kind of dictatorship, which the people of India have rejected, and I think that'll have a good impact everywhere, including in Kashmir. And the assembly elections, the local elections to the local government should happen. They haven't happened since 2014 now, and I hope people get to choose their own representatives, so they can have their own government, so that their own issues can be tackled as well.
Salman Soz, really good to speak to you, spokesperson for India's opposition National Congress Party. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.